Hey everyone, different kind of clone video today. I still want to keep making Clone Trooper Shorts videos, but I also want to start making longer individual clone videos. Let's talk about Omega's story and also discuss how the Book of Boba Fett could play out in the future. Where is she during the events of The Mandalorian? And what the heck is Fennec Shand hiding from Boba Fett? Omega was one of two unaltered clones of Jango Fett, only difference here obviously being she was female. The only other unaltered clone we know of being, of course, Boba Fett, also known as Alpha on Kamino. They were both bred to age normally, unlike other clones. Those clone troopers had an accelerated age rate that was needed to create an army in a short amount of time, taking 9 to 10 years to raise an army equal to that of 18 to 20-year-old humans from birth. Omega grew up on Kamino, and before her escape from the Empire, those oceans and Kaminoan cities were all she'd ever experienced before. It's awesome when we saw her reactions to something so mundane as her first time touching dirt. It just goes to show how innocent she was while also being forced into living this life. On Kamino, she spent her life acting as a research assistant to the chief medical scientist named Nala Se. This scientist was mostly responsible for the creation of Clone Force 99, which Omega oversaw. She became the newest member of the Bad Batch during the first season of the show by the same name. Although she was still a child, in actuality she was older than any of her clone brothers. Even though Hunter has taken on a fathership role in her life, she also seems to have this motherly affection for the rest of Clone Force 99. After all, she did oversee and assist in their genetic manipulation. If Crosshair ever chose the right path, it was surely because of one of the conversations Omega had with him where she seemed to be getting through. Believe it or not, I was once a child, and I think everyone had extra childhood curiosity in them. That's what Omega reminds me of, but where she's more like a child prodigy, I was just kinda dumb and liked exploring dangerous abandoned buildings and stuff like that. She was extremely brave and loyal to her friends. Being dishonest or mean to others was not even in her nature. She made a lot of mistakes, and her own overconfidence played a large role in that. But I think she's got a good group who helped her through this stage in her ever-changing life. She absorbed information like glue, learning new skills directly from her brothers, like when Wrecker was teaching her to disarm explosives, or all of the things that Tech has taught her about the ship. She's picked up some particular skills just from watching her brothers too, like Hunter's tracking she used to retrieve an energy core when their ship was stranded. She did all of that while Hunter was knocked unconscious. She seemed to pick up on using a blaster pretty quickly too. However, she did need some extra help learning her new energy bow weapon that she took off of a Zygerian slave trader. I personally can't wait to see what stories are to come from Omega's adventures. Now, on to Fennec Shand. What is her deal exactly? She was hired by the Kaminoan scientist Nala Se to retrieve Omega. After she failed to get the girl from Hunter's protection, Omega was eventually captured by a different bounty hunter by the name of Cad Bane. Bane was working for the Kaminoan Prime Minister Lama Su, who wanted to extract Omega's DNA and then dispose of her after. Fennec managed to take out the Kaminoan Prime Minister's assistant named Tom Wei, who was there to trade credits for Omega. Fennec stole the briefcase with the payment for the bounty, then attempted to trade the payment for Omega with Cad Bane. But Bane had other ideas, and they ended up fighting each other over the clone girl. While the two were busy fighting, Omega sent out a distress signal to the rest of the Bad Batch. After that, she used the transport pod from the facility to dock with the team's shuttle. There are three badass women who've been cast in the Star Wars more recently. First, we had Katie Sackhoff voicing and then playing Bo-Katan Kryze from the Clone Wars and Rebels up to her live-action appearances in The Mandalorian. I could do a whole video on Katie Sackhoff and her influence in the sci-fi genre without even touching Star Wars. There's her character from Battlestar Galactica that went on for years, and more recently she took on the lead role in Netflix's Another Life, which is actually a really good show. I enjoyed watching the bulk of that series, especially her acting. Okay, enough fangirling about Katie Sackhoff. My point was another badass lady named Ming-Na Wen. She voiced Mulan back when I was a child and played Chun-Li in the live-action Street Fighter movie. She's another badass female who's been in the industry for over 20 years. I'm sure you could recognize Ming-Na Wen from her other various roles. Much more recently, she's gotten a role as the bounty hunter Fennec Shand in Star Wars The Bad Batch. Not long after, she joined the Mandoverse in live action, of course playing a major part in the Book of Boba Fett series. Since this is an Omega-centric video, this is Michelle Ang, an actress from New Zealand who is the voice of Omega. I think they would be very hard pressed to find another actor who could pull off such an amazing voice. I'd eventually like to see Michelle Ang play an older Omega if the story allows for it, somewhere in between the Bad Batch timeline and the Mandoverse timeline. You guys wouldn't believe me if I told you how old these ladies were, because they all look amazing. So I'll just have to put it on the screen instead. Now on to the Book of Boba Fett, which takes place in the Mandoverse after Return of the Jedi. Why didn't Fennec talk to Boba about his long-lost sister Omega? Fennec has beat up many Fett clones before and had enough run-ins with Omega to know that she's also a Fett clone. Will we ever find out what the deal is? It's insane to me knowing all of the connecting factors and then for the two to not have been discussing this in the show. Fennec may be loyal to Boba for now, but that's only because he saved her life. She could have been keeping the information about Omega away from him just to protect him from some secretive remnants of the Empire. Fennec Shand has a long history of taking out anyone who gets in her way. While she's a powerful ally right now, I believe she could also be the biggest threat to Boba Fett's criminal empire. They are an awesome power duo. I think Omega could be the key to a split between the two. A split that kickstarts a war of the bounty hunters. Where is Omega during all of this time? Well, I haven't seen season 2 of The Bad Batch yet, mainly because of the many months delay. I think, at least at some point in her adventure, that she would want to make an effort to rescue her mother figure, Nala Se, from the Empire, as she was basically kidnapped and forced to work as a scientist by Vice Admiral Rampart. I kind of feel like the clones all might want to get rid of Rampart at some point too. These are some of the questions that have been on my mind about Omega, the fates of different clones, and also what became of Nala Se and her secret cloning projects for the Empire. Ever since they brought Fennec Shand into the Mandoverse side of things, that connected a long period of time between the two shows, and it immediately made me think of the Bad Batch when she actually managed to win a fight against Cad Bane. I could honestly see a lot of bounty hunters siding with Fennec Shand over Boba Fett, mainly because of the way he's been acting. And all of this is only if they do decide to split the two up. That's it for me. Have a good one, Star Wars fans.